Well, the Prime Minister says he's proud to increase support for single-parent families who will now receive a welfare boost in tomorrow's budget. Political reporter Olivia Casely joins me in Canberra. Olivia, these were long hinted at. We've got the detail on them now. What do the changes mean?
Well, around 57,000 single parents will be around $175 better off a fortnight under sweeping changes to a key welfare payment. This move is going to cost around $1.9 billion over the forward estimates, but it essentially reverses a pretty controversial move made by the former Gillard government way back in 2012. So if we look at this graphic here, currently when a single parent's child turns 8, they are moved off the payment and onto JobSeeker, which is paid at a lower rate. That age has now been lifted to 14 years of age. It's not quite the 16 years of age recommended by the Economic Inclusion Advisory Committee, but it essentially delivers on Anthony Albanese's personal crusade to overturn this decision he opposed when he was a cabinet minister in the Gillard government. Here's the Prime Minister way back in 2013.
The sole parent payments is an area where we made a mistake. We essentially meant that some of the most vulnerable people ended up with less income.
This is an important recognition that governments in the past have got it wrong.
Is the Gillard government one of those governments that got it wrong though, Amanda?
Well, I think the evidence is now very clear that that parenting doesn't stop at 8.
The Greens aren't giving the government any credit though.
Labor doesn't get a pat on the back for not even fully reversing the terrible decision it made when it was in a government that Anthony Albanese was part of.
So that's one of the changes that's been detailed. Some others that have been hinted at we don't know the detail of though yet. What do we have so far, Olivia?
Well, it's speculation central ahead of tomorrow's budget, but the veil of secrecy has been lifted on some key areas. So the centrepiece, if you like, is this $14.6 billion cost of living package. Part of that is going to include around $1.5 billion for energy rebates for millions of households and also small businesses as well. And that's going to be matched by the states and territories. We're also expecting something by way of rent assistance and also cheaper medicines as well. As we know, last week, the RBA did lift the cash rate, which was a bit of a surprise to some, but the pressure is really on the government that any of these budget measures don't add to inflation.
And we have sat down and worked through the measures that we're putting forward for cost of living relief in this budget. We've made sure that they won't add to inflationary pressures in the economy.
All eyes are on JobSeeker though, Tom, and whether that payment will be lifted across the board and not just the over 55s flagged last week.